Dink Esports are on red side, Infected Dragons on blue side. We are on Ice Mines of all times, and we have the Makoa band coming through straight away for this team.
Oh man, I'm loving how we're seeing Ice Mines week in, week out. Because I think this opens up for some very interesting drafting. It's just such a different map to the main maps that we see every week. This gives teams an opportunity to really show some like off meta, some out of the box thinking with their picks.
I love these Ice Mines. It feels like there is it's different to Jaguar Falls where a lot of compositions work, but Ice Mines is just so crazy as a map where it literally does come down to that first engage. It can pretty much decide the entirety of the map. Of course, when we talk about Jaguar Falls and Bright Marsh, even if you lose that first engage, you always have a chance of coming back. But with Ice Mines, there's just so much distance between the two spawns and the capture points that sometimes just a good engage is all you need. Infected Dragons are going to pick up the Barrack first pick, and you can see we have got some draft data as well in the bottom. So the Barrack coming out, Inara coming through as well. So both these front lines in our first 3 weeks have had a high amount of pick rate.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation right here, this is the only thing these teams could do. They have banned out so many tanks.
Yes.
Barrack and Inara are like absolutely essential. You have to prioritize those as your picks with a ban list like this. The Grover now coming through for Dink Esports. This is not a surprise on Ice Mines, as we've said before, because of how narrow this map is all the way through. Grover's passive heal sort of radius just covers everything. You know, it's really easy for him to keep his team sustained because of how narrow and enclosed this map is.
Yeah, absolutely. And Infected Dragon's going to hopefully take advantage of the narrow corridors. Genos and Fernando coming through here. I do like to see the Fernando. I'm trying to think, as you say, heavy priority on frontline bans. It's either Fernando, Terminus, or Torvald pretty much available, if my memory serves me correctly here. So Infected Dragons obviously prioritizing the front lines. They got what they want here, and I do like the Genos.
There is a payload to push.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm thinking that we might be in line to see just a solo Inara for Dink at this point. We haven't seen much in the way of these other tanks being picked for them at this point, so they may just be thinking, let's push this as a triple DPS composition here.
It is certainly an option for them as well, and they of course do have the option of going into that second tank if they wish. Infected Dragons going to take the Pip and the Leon again, so the Leon definitely has been a staple pick here, 77.8% pick rate within the Season 3, and it's finally going to be up against Dink Esports. What are they going to take into this, and where are they going to go? They do, as you say, triple DPS is an option, double frontline is still on the table for them, and Ruckus. Wow.
Oh, and a Ruckus.
I completely forgot about Ruckus.
Poor old Ruckus. And I tell you what, we've seen a lot of Ruckus being played at the top level of Paladin's gameplay recently. A lot of Ruckus being played in the PPO in the last few weeks. He's definitely in a good spot right now for this.
Yeah, and it's good to see teams starting to look towards him as well. I mean, so much so that I just completely forgot he existed. But you know, for the Ruckus pick here, you've got the aggression. It's not so much that he's a point tank, it's just the really get in your face sort of front line. So he can kind of fulfill the same amount of same role that an Ashe can, or a Calm when he gets in your face. Of course, lacking that CC, but still being a nuisance. And also you have to respect that Hexafire as well.
Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome aboard to the first game of MLL Season 3, week number 4 between Dink Esports and Infected Dragons. Let's go to the rosters. On the side of Dink Esports, on your blue side, we have Ryflu on the Royal Subjects Bomb King. Big Game Cassie played by Tanny TPG. Soul on the Mother's Grace Inara. Seer playing that Rocket Barrage Ruckus, and finishing it up with Milad on the Rampart, Blooming Grover. What's going on the other side, Riddick?
Over on the blue side, we have Licky Me on Luminary, Genos, Bymore TV on the Scorch Fernando, Derp0100 on the Tinkerin, Barrack, Jeku on the Catalyst Pip, and Bojan Tori on Eminence Leon.
The fight is hereby begun right here on Ice Mines. This is going to be a best of 3 situation, and with game 1 already starting, off with Infected Dragon solidly placing themselves on the point with Derp. Trying to hold his distance, but in this very case, he just needs to play safe as Dink Esports are closing in on them.
I just love what's going on right now with the trading. We've just had first blood, and there's been seconds going. You don't normally see this level of play, but these teams both have a decent amount of respect for each other. You do see Dink starting to push forward, and once again, ID just respecting the space that they've given and just pulling back, waiting for the regroup, waiting for Fernando to get back up, and I'm loving this. Obviously, Bomb King coming out, making a lot of pressure, and that is something you have to be aware of. This Bomb King and Ruckus combo, I think, is coming in big for the side of Dink.
That was one brilliant quick capture here for Dink Esports. Infected Dragons weren't able to get there in time. Soul just placed a really good impasse, and that was pretty much the end of it. And right now, the evil mojo connected, making sure that Danny CPG went back to spawn. Soul will reconnect and get Biomorph, while Riflu collects... Oh my god, they're collecting souls over here! Somebody! There's a Grim Reaper on the run.
I'm actually seeing a lot of duos coming out here. I'm seeing a duo between Bomb King and Ruckus pushing forward, but I'm also seeing a massive duo of both Inara and Grover. As you saw there, the whirlwind from Grover, it's just helping Inara push forward and be able to take those fights and pick up that double kill. Soul playing absolutely out of his mind. You're playing a lights out Inara, both defensive but in a very aggressive manner. And as we see, this Grover pick is coming in very clutch for the side of Dink.
With 1 minute and 33 seconds left on the payload push, Dink Esports have all the reasons in the world to go in, but no matter what, Liggy will answer truthfully with a through time and space, getting 2 kills onto Seer and Riflu, pushing back Dink Esports. Bojantati following up by getting Danny TPG, and Soul will be the next one on the menu. Goodbye, said Biomorph, as that fireball landed straight back into the net.
Very good stagger here for ID. That was a very risky through time and space from Licky Me. As if you could catch that, he wasn't really sure about how many people he would catch, but he knew that he needed to stall out this push some way, shape, or form. Incredibly lucky that he got that double kill, but that's what this game boils down to sometimes. Sometimes it is a bit of a risk-taking play that gets you the game, and we do have a pause here, so we can take a little bit of time, but like, that's just like how the game plays out sometimes. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of a risk and have it pay off massively, and that did in the favor of ID right there.
As ID collected their bounties right there and got back on track with credits, let's actually take a look at the net worth here. Dink Esports are of course on the top, but at the same time, Infected Dragons are actually catching up pretty well to them, considering that the capture went in the way of Dink Esports right there. Like, that's 300 credits for the whole side of Dink Esports. But at the same time, like right under, we're 968 contra 1046. It's such a small margin compared to what they are actually, like how much advantage they actually have on Dink.
I'm really digging that. Once again, if we look at the net worth, we also see Grover's net worth like 200 points, credits above everyone else. And that's just a testament to how well the healer works on this map, just constantly keeping everybody up. But if we slowly switch over to the damage chart here, we see something a little bit surprising. Pip, 10k damage over Cassie almost. That's very interesting to me, considering how we see Pip normally played as supplemental damage and supplemental support. We really see the potential of this off-meta flank pick coming through here.
As of now, Geku is holding off the fort together with Biomorph on the high ground, and Impasse will block him into the fray of battle. Sadly, that will be both Derp and Biomorph off for a little while, and Geku will kind of have to just stay back in spawn. They're getting all pressured out. They will not be able to get out of their base for the time being. Sadly, though, Dink Esports will convert the payload and give no breaks to Infected Dragons.
Even though the credit disparity wasn't too great in the side in favor of Dink, we do see second tier items starting to come through for them, and that's incredibly impactful. The matchup in general seems to be playing very much in the favor of Dink, and not just because of skill, it's just the way they're able to control space with Bum King, CC, and Nara's just being able to say nope to a specific area of the map. And obviously Grover keeping everyone healed up in such a closed zone is just really surprising to me and really impactful when it comes to Ice Mines. And I'm really liking to see how the meta evolves on a map we haven't seen a lot of pro play for yet.
I really like that statement because we both agree that Ice Mines is one of the least played maps in competitive. And when you finally see teams pull it off, then you see so many different strategies being pulled off because it's an open field. It's the Wild West. And talking about Wild West, there's an evil mojo connecting onto 3 men of Infected Dragon. Soul will get that Tripperinos up in the sissy, pushing up and pushing Infected Dragons back to where they came from.
That
Wow.
was such a trigger finger matchup right there. King Bomb immediately popped. Pip dropped his evil mojo in response, but it was a little too late. King Bomb gives him CC immunity. Inara just immediately starting the charge time for the seismic crash to give her CC immunity, essentially countering out the large majority of the evil mojo, and then just a wipe coming out from Soul, as you said, reaping those souls and doing the benefit for his team now. But Whirlwind's gonna get popped, and this fight comes in for round 2.
With 96% on the payload clock for the side of Dink Esports, Infected Dragons really need to pull off some weight here. Geku getting a hold on to Danny, TPG, and the rest of Dink has to go back. This is turning around for the side of Infected Dragons, and they definitely needed that in this very situation. They can't really be holding off for much longer without capturing, and they do.
Well done to ID right there. I'm not really going to take it away from you, Wolf, because there's a lot of action breaking out on screen, but it does show you the dominance of Dink on this map. They know this map really, really well. Even when they had to disengage, they didn't disengage too far, because a lot of teams will often disengage all the way back to spawn, but Dink was just like, let's just hide around this corner and wait for opportunity to strike back.
With all that is going on for ID right now, they should be feeling pretty confident. They're pulling out number after number here, and it does look to be that they're finally getting through this very, very tight choke point, where pretty much the entire squad of Dink are covering that angle just perfectly, and that gets Derp in the end.
Fantastic play from Raifu here. We just see this champion, Mom King, which you want to play aggressive on. You want to fly around the map, but Raifu's got such discipline to his play that he's just playing in the back line. He's just trying to hit these AW sticky bombs, get that poke damage off there, just trying people with massive evil mojo suddenly coming out, gonna kill. Oh my goodness, Bojan 20 getting a triple kill with the Hyper Biomorph TV. Wow, Woofie!
Well, Infected Dragons just said, hey, excuse me, we're still here. Hello? Okay, we're sitting back and just chilling. It's okay. You've proven what you what you were trying to say. You proved your point. And they're still trying to prove themselves by pushing the payload aggressively forward. Seer is the only one on the low ground together with Riflu. He won't be able to help, but Danny TPG gets Firemorph, and that opens up for a P-push.
Oh my goodness, how rude of ID while I was talking to suddenly make a team wipe. Wow. But if we take a look at the damage shots, we see they are actually clearly in favor of ID at this moment. Leon and Pip pulling out damage just beyond what we can comprehend. And we're definitely going to see some resiliences coming through for the side of Dink further into this match, because that Evil Mojo ultimate is so game-changing for ID here.
Dink has definitely been thinking about it by Riflu, focusing on getting that maxed out right away. The resilience is simply too useful. And with the 10 seconds left on the payload push, Infected Dragons have only one chance to get there. And when they get there, they need to push. They can't really just go away from the payload. And in this case, it just looks to be impossible. It is a defense successful for the side of Dink.
I think that was a choice there made by ID not to push onto the payload and not to give more value to Dink than that they already had. No more ultimate charge, despite them having max ultimates. No more credits, because that is something that is considered highly in pro players. How many credits is the damage I'm going to give to my opponent worth? How many credits is my kill worth, you know? So I think it was a well-calculated play from ID to just say, back it off. It's a 3-1, but we still have comeback mechanic. We still have the opportunity to come back here. And with all 5 ultimates almost up for the side of ID, facing up against 5 ultimates on the side of Dink, this could be a very close match.
This could very well be the last point of this game, but it can also turn right around in favor of Infected Dragons. The push is on the rise, and we see Infected Dragons playing it extremely safe by not going into the little hut. They don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I think they finally decided, okay, let's respect the area control that is offered by Bomb King. The Immortal coming out from Fernando there, very wisely saving almost his entire team from that King Bomb. Super smart. The Genos obviously through time and space, also hoping to catch the Bomb King. Didn't really do that too well, but there you see some coordination coming out from ID, showing their experience as a team, and I really like that.
Look at that, pulling off an evil mojo to push Soul into the corner, down on the corner, as Credence once sung. But in this very case, they need to get in now. And the seismic crash has connected. Riflu will get Bojan Toddy. And now it's time for ID to move in. They have the numbers advantage in their favor very soon, as the respawns are coming through here.
We do still have the Barrack alive on the point, and that is what matters. Pip is just hiding out in the corner, trying to keep himself healed, trying to keep beating around the bush. Does go off the map, though. Danny TPG just knocking him off cheekily, and thankfully, Barrack was able to hold out on the point for as long as he could, doing the frontliner's job and securing this point for ID.
This was, once again, a really, really well-placed decision from Derp over here. Normally you see a Barrack playing it a little bit more safe, not really touching the point unless the coast is clear, but I feel that Derp was thinking ahead and just said, yeah, let me fight it out and hope that my team is ready to follow up, and they were. And now it is a 3-2 instead of a 4-1, so...
What happened there is, I think that what Infected Dragons, as TJ said, as Tom said, they were really hungry for that win. They had to get it. So instead of backing off as a team might do and playing a lot more safe, they were basically making a mad dash. And despite the fact that they lost a few picks, the health bars on the side of Dink were very low. And I think they were able to capitalize on that and pick up that free point, basically.
And just like that, Dink Esports have been cleaning up the field, getting 4 out of 5 members of Infected Dragons, a delayed team wipe. And with that, that's just a statement from Dink Esports. They're pushing forward. I feel in this very case that they shouldn't really go too much forward here on Infected Dragons, but I could be wrong. It just doesn't feel right to let Dink Esports get too far into Infected Dragons backlines.
Right now, if I'm Infected Dragons, I want to lay back. I want to relax, generate some ultimate charge, and rather wait for an opening to be presented, as opposed to trying to force one here. You're not going to be able to push Dink back. They're too strong at zoning you out. So what do you do in that? You try to deny them ultimate charge. You try to deny them a credit economy. You try to keep them from farming, basically. And unfortunately, I don't think they got the memo here, as Danny TPG and Zero are just going to pick up 2 kills on the front lines, forcing Infected Dragons basically back to spawn.
With 18 seconds left, there's just so little chance of them getting up to the payload, which is none at all. They just have to hold it out and maybe get a kill or 2 before the round ends. Soul being pretty healthy, Riflu being healthy, there's just really no entrance for Infected Dragons, and that's just the end of that round.
Now, I really want to talk about ultimate interactions super quickly, because we do see an ultimate advantage in the favor of ID here, but something important to note is look at how Dink have picked their champions. Ruckus, Hexafire, CC immunity. Bomb King, King Bomb, during the charge time and during rolling, CC immunity. Inara, Seismic Crash, CC immunity. Cassie, during her ultimate, CC immunity. Grover, Whirlwind, CC immunity. They've picked so many ultimates that could just stop Evil Mojo, which is arguably the most valuable ultimate that ID possesses, and they just stop it at base. However, Cassie doesn't have Scout up yet, and it may seem like a slightly unimpactful ultimate, but it could mean all the difference here for the favor of ID.
With that said, it's a 3-2 and we're about to enter the 3rd round of the first game here. The King Bomb going off with a bang, but it's followed up by a through time and space combo and Immortal making sure that a kill would get in their way. ID will now have the numbers advantage. It got even out pretty quickly, but nonetheless, this is on Dink Esports side of the advantage.
Most definitely. Unfortunately, Geku going down really early in that fight may have been the cause of it. We did see a lot of self-discipline from Seer, holding back his Hexafire, knowing that Fernando was going to pop the Immortal, and knowing that he could wait for the Seismic Crash, drew out the Fernando from the Fernando Ultimate, the Immortal from the King Bomb, and then follow up with the Hexafire from the Seismic Crash, stunning everybody, and getting so much value from that. Of course, we have the Dome Shield coming down with this very aggressive Varic play, hoping to secure the point back in the favor of IVID, but Inaru's just saying no.
You shall not pass. The staff has been thrown down, and Geku is now on the point trying to get that overtime. There's just no way that they can get on the point, and Dink Esports takes game number 1.